we have reached day 5 of Rejection Week. Happy Rejection Week. Hope everyone's doing great. I've read a whole bunch of rejections this week, and it's been great. It's been great just letting this go, talking a little bit about why some of these were rejected, and hopefully you've had fun with it. Maybe learned some few things. A couple of you have written back that they're happy I'm sharing some of these things because maybe they're getting rejected, and hope you get something out of these things. That's the spirit in which I read these rejected manuscripts. Just to let you know, a few years ago I challenged myself to write things that were different for me. I come from I'm a naturalist, a park ranger in my past career, and so I'm drawn to write things that I have studied and learned about. Frogs, trees, manatees, sea turtles, wolves, whales. So I'm drawn to write about those things, and a lot of my books are about those subjects. But a few years ago I said, Steve, do something different. Challenge yourself as a writer. So I started writing funny picture books. I started writing some more poetry. Started on a novel. Started a chapter book series. Things that I wouldn't normally do. So I invite you, young readers and older writers and younger writers, to see if you can challenge yourself to write things that you normally wouldn't write. It's a good experience. You will grow as a writer. Today, on day number 5 of Rejection Week, I am going to read something that I normally wouldn't have written, but I challenged myself to do this. I've never written a chapter book, and I've never written anything about zombies. So today, Friday, is Zombie Day, and I'll be reading to you a series of books that has not been published. It's been rejected. This is called Second Grade Zombies. That's the series. And the main character is Zonk, Z-O-N-K. And the first book in this series is called Zonk and the Class Picture Day. Here we go. Chapter 1. My friends say I have a big heart. They say, Zonk, you like to help people. You have a big heart. I do like to help people, but I don't know about the big heart. Do zombies even have a heart? I don't know. I don't feel anything beating. I know some of my friends like to eat heart, and they like to eat brains too. I'm not a big fan of heart or brains. I prefer kale and carrots, and candy, of course. You see, I'm a vegetarian zombie. I know what you're thinking. Ew, Brussels sprouts, they're disgusting. Well, I used to eat meat when I was little, but in 2nd grade everything changed. I became a veggie guy. Zombies change. I don't mind changes. I never used to be afraid of the dark, but now I am. I have friends who spend hours wandering the neighborhood at night. No way, not me. Here's another thing you probably don't know about. You didn't know about zombies. Some of us are snazzy dressers. Yeah, I know most of us walk around in rags and tattered shirts and dresses. The general feeling is, why bother looking nice when half your face has disappeared or there's a hatchet sticking out of your neck? But about the time I gave up meat, I thought I'd jazz up my wardrobe. I know it's weird, but I love a nice bow tie with a plaid shirt. And don't you think blue and pink are a great color combination? One more thing. You know all that moaning and groaning we do? That's when we're walking. When we're in school, at home, in the mall, we talk our heads off. You ought to hear our teacher, Mrs. Zappy. She doesn't stop talking, like when we got to school on Monday morning. Chapter 2. I have 2 surprises, said Mrs. Zappy. First, I'd like everyone to meet our new student, Zed. Hi, Zed, the class shouted. Hi, said Zed. Second, said Mrs. Zappy, Friday is class picture day. If you have a pet, bring it in. Your pet can be in the class picture too. Everyone whooped and clapped. Poor Zola just stamped her feet as both of her arms fell off last week. As you know, I will bring in Pirate, Mrs. Zappy continued. Please be forewarned to hold tight to all of your pets. Pirate is a bit nasty when in the company of other animals. You can say that again. Like the time last spring, Mrs. Zappy introduced the class to her crazy pet alligator Pirate, and it ate half the Easter bunnies we were raising. She calls her alligator Pirate because it lost one of its eyes and now wears an eye patch. Pirate is an American alligator, Mrs. Zappy began. As we've learned, alligators have between 74 and 80 teeth. As the teeth wear down, they grow new ones. Adult female alligators. And she's off and running. Get Mrs. E talking alligators. There's no stopping her. The woman is a walking internet site about alligators. She told us once her dad was a famous reptile scientist that ended up getting eaten by a crocodile. It's weird how she likes him so much. You'd think she'd despise crocs and gators. Mrs. E rambled on about alligators forever. She concluded her lecture with drilling the class about the difference between crocs and gators. And so, class, what is the major difference between alligators and crocodiles? Alligators have rounded snouts, crocodiles have V-shaped snouts, we chimed in unison. Mrs. E checked her watch and realized alligators had gotten the best of her, which is funny because Pirate once got too playful and bit off her right ear. Oh goodness, look at the time, she announced. Math time. There was some groans, but Mrs. E couldn't tell if they were general zombie groaning or the thought of math upset some students. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, Mrs. E's alligator lectures were way more interesting than algebra. Chapter 3. Zombies get hungry, as I'm sure you know. Come on, raise your hand if you've been bitten. Anyway, when snack time finally rolled around, there was some definite happy groaning. I sat with my two best buds, Zilch and Zoe. While I chopped on zucchini slices and carrot sticks, Zilch gnawed on something that looked like a cactus branch. What is that thing? I asked. Armadillo legs barbecued in squirrel gravy, moaned Zilch. Mom sure knows how to treat a kid. Zoe ate her favorite, fishtails. Hey Zed, come join us. I'm Zonk, that's Zilch, and here's Zoe. Hi. Picture day is so much fun, I said. Donut is a real ham. He loves getting his picture taken. Donut is my dog. What else do you call a dog with a hole in it? Airhead lets me brush her tail if someone wants to take her picture, said Zoe. Isn't she a beauty? Zoe held out her Z-phone. Your cat has no head, said Zed. What else do you call a cat with no head? But she's got great fur. Grounded loves photos too, said Zilch. Grounded was Zilch's pet parrot. You guessed it, Grounded was a parrot with no wings. It would be so much fun to have all the pets together, said Zoe. And every kid has a pet, said Zilch. I don't have a pet, said Zed. Zed looked sad. Chapter 4. Here's the thing about zombies. Walkers, the living dead, call us what you will. We're slow. We amble, trudge, plod. We're dawdlers. Despite the fact plenty of us wear way cool sneakers, we have no moves. I love my new orange and black running shoes, but I don't run or jog. So, rule number 1 when avoiding zombies, you just gotta move faster than we are. Simple as that. I sidled up to Zed after school. Whoa, slow down there, cowboy. Oh, hey, Zonk. We slogged in silence, softly groaning. I could tell something was on Zed's mind. I wish I had a pet, said Zed. My mom always brags about to neighbors that I'm the nicest zombie she's ever known. My Zonk has a heart of gold, she says. He always thinks about other people, how we can help those in need. My mom is probably biased. After all, I am her kid, but I felt bad for Zed. How could I help? Don't worry, I said. Maybe we can find you a pet before picture day. How about a fish? Mom eats them, said Zed. Okay, how about a hamster? Dad eats them, said Zed. How about a snake? My sister eats them. A monkey? Too much work, said Zed. A turtle? I said. Allergic, said Zed. This wasn't going to be easy as I thought. I rattled my brain for suggestions and wondered if we should just visit a pet shop. That way Zed can pick out a pet that works. Chapter 5. We plowed past Mr. and Mrs. Zimmer's house. Mr. Zimmer was taking out the trash. Just like that, I had a brainstorm. Not about the trash, but about the fact that Mr. Zimmer raises frogs. Hi, Mr. Zimmer, I said. Oh, hey, Zonk, said Mr. Zimmer. This here's my new friend Zed, and guess what? He's looking for a pet. Said Mr. Zimmer. Let me see what I can do. Mr. Zimmer disappeared down his basement steps and returned with something behind his back. Here you go, Zed, said Mr. Zimmer. He's all yours. Mr. Zama plopped a large bullfrog into Zed's hands. A bullfrog minus its legs. Sorry, my wife loves to eat frog's legs, said Mr. Zimmer. Wow, thanks, said Zed. It's great to have a pet. Zed carried his new pet home tucked under his arm. What are you going to call your new pet, Zed? Softball. Perfect, said Zonk. Chapter 6. I couldn't wait for class picture day. I brushed Donut, I clipped her toenails, I tied a bow through her hole. Friday finally arrived. The school bus was packed with kids and their pets. Zonk and Donut, Zilch and Grounded, Zoe and Airhead. Hi, Zed, said Zonk. Where's your pet bullfrog, Softball? We had a family visit from out of town, said Zed, and my Uncle Zeke ate my frog. I forgot to tell him it was my pet. Oh, Zed, I'm sorry, said Zonk. Do you want to share Donut with me today? Donut can be both our pets. That's okay. Donut is your pet, said Zed. I don't need a pet anyway. Zed looked sad. The bus arrived at school. Zonk was about to step off the bus when he saw something. A beautiful orange butterfly stuck on the windshield wipers. The insect slowly opened and closed its wings. Zonk had an idea. He whispered to the bus driver. Soon all the students and their pets were gathered for the class picture. Close your eyes and open your hand, Zed, said Zonk. Zonk put the orange butterfly in Zed's hand. Your brand new pet, said Zonk. Zed smiled and put the butterfly on his shoulder. Zed loved his new pet. Do you have a name for your lovely butterfly? Zoe asked. Splat, replied Zed. Perfect. Everyone cheered. Say cheese, said the photographer. It was the best class picture ever. The end. Okay. Zonk and the class picture day, second grade zombies. Rejection number 1. Actually, this didn't go out that much, probably 2 or 3 places, so I'll just read you one. It's rather long. Thank you for sending second grade zombies for review and for your patience in waiting for my notes. Overall, your writing is spot on for the full color age group of 5 to 7-year-olds. Aside from some advanced vocabulary words such as amble and meander, for example, your text was on the right level. I also appreciate that you're aware of what's hot in the marketplace right now, i.e. zombies, and are trying to capitalize on that trend. That being said, I think the zombie theme may not be one that ages down quite well as I'd hoped. While parts of zombie life are definitely funny, the fact that the characters are dead in certain moments, such as my wife loves frog's legs and when the uncle eats the pet frog, could be potentially upsetting to our readers. In order for this theme to be successful in our line, we'd have to tread carefully with the humor and with the artwork to keep it as funny and as upbeat as possible. You had some great humorous touches in this manuscript, like emphasizing how slowly zombies walk, and Airhead, the cat with no head. The cat was a personal favorite. I simply don't think the manuscripts as a whole feel quite funny enough. In addition, in terms of plot, these 2 rough manuscripts didn't really have enough going on to hold a newly independent reader's attention. For example, I was not on the edge of my seat waiting to see how the class picture unfolded, since I wasn't aware of anything big that would be associated with it. The search for Zed's pet felt more interesting and exciting. I found myself wanting more action, propelling the plots forward, and more humor to come out of the zombie actions in particular. I think you have a seed of an idea here, but I have to be honest that I'm not sure if it has legs or not. Pardon the zombie pun, since this is a tricky topic to nail for this age group. If you decide to take a whirl at revising the tone and plot of one of these manuscripts in an attempt to amp up the action and increase the humor, I'd be happy to have another look. Not a bad rejection. There's some thought there. There's some way forward. I shared this with some teachers at an international school. I'll read you what one of the teachers said, and then maybe from what one of the kids said. Dear Mr. Steve, I think Zonk the Zombie is a terrific idea for a beginning chapter book series. My students enjoy supernatural characters, and I like that Zonk isn't your typical zombie. They laughed a lot. And true to your style, you managed to teach them something about crocodiles, too. I have many English language learners, and even my native speakers had trouble with some of your vocabulary. On your draft, I circled some of the words I think you should consider simplifying. As a teacher, I don't want them to struggle with decoding or vocabulary quite so much on a beginning chapter book. Good luck with getting it published. And finally, from a kid named Tiger. Dear Mr. Steve, I loved your story because you had an interesting beginning, middle, and an end. I think you need to add beautiful pictures to your Zonk the Vegetarian book. Look at the back. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the back of Tiger's note. I think he's got some interesting pictures there. So guys, that's it for Rejection Week.